okay, there's so many holes and so many issues with this whole story and the way that Patrick presents it, right? So I wanted to go find this photo so that everybody's on the same page with the idea that, like, why are the plates on top of the CVS bag? If Patrick comes home and he's, otherwise preoccupied and he's setting the stuff down, what sense does it make that he sets the stuff down and then puts the plates on the bag? Make that make sense, okay? In the last post, I was also addressing what sense does it make that Lindsay is going to wear her Apple Watch to carry out this nefarious plan against her children, but is also going to have the presence and clarity of mind to be like, pause, let me take it off before I finish doing this to myself. And even if she does so, why doesn't she just set it on the nightstand? Why does she put it in the drawer if she's literally about to off herself? Okay. So then I went on this search for this photo. I couldn't find a standalone photo, so I had to grab it from somebody else's content. And as I was looking at this photo, I was like, wait a minute. Because from what I know of the trial, Patrick says that when he leaves, I think he says Dawson's sitting on the couch eating a bowl of broccoli. So where is the bowl? Okay, where's the bowl? And then I was like looking at this photo a little bit longer, and then I'm like, because in the prior post I was questioning what sense does it make? Like, because I didn't know the timeline of whether or not the kids were still eating when Patrick left. Because I was like, what sense does it make? Because I had already seen this photo, which is why I was looking for it. Because I was like, let me just make sure. Because what sense does it make for a woman who's trying to construct a narrow window of time for her husband to be gone, for her to be like, nope, the kids are still eating. Let me wait for them to finish eating before I carry out this plan in a short amount of time? Because if CVS is 3 minutes away, and then your only other thing that you have added to the list of things to do is to go get takeout, and both of these places are less than 15 minutes away, that's a 30-minute window at best that she has constructed. And so it's just magically weird that it takes longer than 30 minutes, that Patrick somehow takes 15 minutes to get from home to CVS and then doesn't get home after leaving at 5. He doesn't get home until 6:09. So in my mind, even if we're dealing with the fact that Patrick does all of this in the shortest amount of time, and he has no waiting, he has no traffic, he has none of that, your mind is still going to go shortest amount of time, and you're trying to get everything done. 30 minutes. You're giving yourself 30 minutes to carry out this nefarious plan, right? So what sense would it make that you would be like, oh, the kids aren't done eating. Hold on, let me wait. And then, if we're also dealing with the pressure of time, why is she going to take her watch off and put it in a drawer? So my mind was looking for this photo because I was like, let me just confirm, like, whether or not the kids had finished eating. Like, let me find out, because I couldn't remember if food was on the plate or not. Then I look at this photo and I'm like, wait a minute. Where's the crumbs? I do not know any frozen chicken nuggets that you can serve kids that doesn't have breadcrumbs falling off when you heat them up. And even if it doesn't have breadcrumbs falling off, that doesn't leave like greasy, oily stains. And then we're going with the story that they were served broccoli. Okay, if you cut your own broccoli, usually there's the little pieces of the floret that are strewn all over the plate. If they're frozen, you still get that, but then you also usually get like the watery marks of where the broccoli has been on the plate. So now you're trying to convince me that not only did Lindsay pause and wait for the children to completely finish their food, but that none of the food left any residue, left no marks, left no crumbs, left no evidence that there was ever food on these plates. So you're now going to convince me that Lindsay served them food, washed their dishes, and then put them back on the table. So you're going to try to convince me that Lindsay is so meticulously clean that she washed their dishes but left them on the table. And yet was so meticulously clean that before she goes to off herself, she takes off her watch and puts it away. Which one is it? Which one is it? Make that make sense.